Before this video starts, I would just like to dedicate my thoughts and prayers to everyone in the Ukraine right now. I don't know if I have anyone who watches these videos from the Ukraine in that area, but if I do, I hope that you and your families are safe, healthy, and happy, and I hope that you guys can get to safety if you are currently in a more unsafe area. And I do hope that this can eventually be settled in a peaceful manner as soon as possible, but yeah, my heart goes out to all of you, and I hope you guys stay safe out there. Hey, what is going on, guys? Today, I am sharing with you what is becoming a pretty popular series on this channel. These are my Assetto Corsa track improvements. You're probably noticing that I've dropped F1 track improvements from this title because while 3 of the 5 tracks on this list were once F1 tracks, none of them are current. It's the F1 off season, and none of these are like F1 specific with like F1 sponsors and things like that. So these are just track improvements, but 3 of them happen to be at old F1 tracks. We do have a wide variety of tracks on this list, from more American rural tracks to, of course, F1 tracks, and I think these are all pretty popular tracks that the vast majority of you guys have, and if you don't have, you should definitely install. So without further ado, let's get right into the first one. And that is Shanghai International Circuit. Before we begin, though, I would like to say that all of these track improvements are brought to us by race department user Boba HK. He's done some amazing work. I highly recommend you drop 5 stars on all of these track extensions. But on to Shanghai. This thing adds a ton to a track that doesn't really get much love in both Assetto Corsa and real life, but they've added 2D crowds, symmetrical trees, they've added some grass and curb retexturing, as well as some material tweaks, as they call it. So just a massive texture overhaul and adding a crowd as well. I do have to admit, this track has always looked quite sterile, and I don't really like Shanghai anyway, but this definitely does make it a bit more appeasing to the eye while you drive it in Assetto Corsa. And I don't know if we're ever going back to China for COVID reasons or for like world politics reasons, but yet again, we still might be going to Russia, so guess that's not ruling it out. But yeah, this thing is super nice extension, and a great one to have. And if you don't have Shanghai in your Assetto Corsa mod list yet, then why not give it a download, because it is an F1 track, and I don't know, maybe you'll get the urge to drive it at some point. Next up, we move on to Indianapolis GP. This is the IndyCar course, more specifically. This extension adds 2D crowds, grass, tarmac, and curb retextures. Some new sponsor boards, banners, and flags have been added and changed, working TV displays, and some minor tweaks to the textures. And yeah, this thing is really nice, and it kind of brings up this really good circuit. Honestly, this is a AA track, I'm pretty sure, but yeah, it adds a lot. It adds a couple of the like COVID time like grandstand banners as well. So if you do want to have a bit more immersion when you're racing your Indy cars around here, then you will get that. I think the Indy GP track is pretty underrated. It is a fun layout to drive, and it does actually race pretty well in the Indy cars. So if you've never thrown your VRC Formula NA or RSS Formula Americas around here, but I highly recommend you do, and this extension will make it look a lot more realistic. Next up, we move on to everyone's favorite track that I sadly do not think we will ever see in F1 ever again. There you go. There's my honest opinion. It is Sepang. This extension adds brand new reworked palm trees, as well as a bunch of new tree textures all around the tracks with the background forests. Grass effects has been added, the curbs have been updated, and some 2D crowds have been added to the grandstands as well, just livening the place up a lot. One thing I will say sadly about is that this doesn't really change any of the tarmac textures, which, I mean, I don't know how accurate the ones from the original are, but it would have been nice because they don't look too great. So at least like upscaling the resolution of them, I don't know. But still a fantastic extension that brings a lot of new life to that very old ACU Sepang that has probably been sitting in your mods folder for ages and hasn't been touched just because it looks very out of date. Sepang is an amazing track to drive. If you've never driven it before somehow, I highly recommend you do. Super fun layout. Yeah, you could find this one in the link in the description below. Sepang, man, I love it so much. Next up, we head back on over to America for Virginia International Raceway. And just like Sepang, this one has been needing a retexture for a while, in my opinion. All trees have been completely redone. They are darker now, higher resolution, all done from scratch, and it looks so beautiful. Grass colors have been changed as well. It's added 2 new layers of dirt onto the curbs. Background details have been improved a lot as well, and the seasonal color changes were removed because who actually likes those? Of course, this is a round in the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship. I don't think the prototypes go around here, just the GT cars. But VIR is quite an underrated track in my opinion. I don't really hear anyone ever talk about it, but it is a fun layout, very fast as well. And if you want to drive some GT cars around here, it is an amazing time. And this extension just makes it so much sweeter. And finally, we head on over to Japan for Twin Ring Montegi. This is also known as URD Tochigi. And this is a very expensive track mod, but I also did hear it got leaked and shared around a lot, so there might be a chance you have this track for not paid, that's for sure. But regardless, it is here, and it is a very welcome extension. This thing was quite rough looking before, especially for its, what, $15 price tag? It was quite ridiculous, but new trees have been added, Grass FX has been added, spectators have been added, we've have grass elements being changed, working TV displays, and a baked AO patch. So for those of you who are a bit more nitty-gritty in Assetto Corsa modding, that might mean something to you. It doesn't really to me. Yeah, this track needed work, especially in like the tree and foliage department, so this is very welcome. And I was honestly, I didn't really like, I should say, driving this track, but this extension just makes it a lot more nice to look at. And honestly, now that I've driven it, had the excuse to, it is a ton of fun. So yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. If you did enjoy, a like and a sub would mean a lot. Sorry for my absence. I've kind of just had like a little bit of burnout recently, as well as the world events these last 24 hours have kind of just put me in a mood where I haven't really been wanting to record, but I did genuinely enjoy making this video, and I know you guys enjoy the track improvements, so I'm happy to bring it to you all. Thank you guys for watching, and stay safe out there.